Hello and welcome back to The Great Ace Attorney. Resolve. So last I remember, well, we cleared the first case, and now we are actually going to start up the second case, entitled The Memoirs of the Clouded Kokoro. So, let's get into it. Episode 2. The Memoirs of the Clouded Kokoro.
ブライヤーロードの歩道で起こった姿なき犯人による冬の夜の惨劇。背中を刺され倒れた裏若きレディーが生死をさまよううちに事件は解決した。窮地に陥った東洋人の留学生が我が友人によって救い出されたその晩、ガス灯の刻むほの暗い影の中、再び奇怪な事件が闇を切り裂いた。当時の新聞の戦場的な見出しを記憶している者も多いだろう。悪霊に見入られた死の邸宅、死刑囚の呪い、ガス魔人の恐怖。現場に駆けつけた名探偵は瞬時にその真相を看破するのだが、それは悲劇の舞台の幕開けを告げるプレリュードに過ぎなかったのである。
My name is Souseki Natsume. I'm a fledgling lawyer, just starting out on my journey. 6 months ago, I arrived as a visiting student of law. Having made the long voyage across the sea from the Empire of Japan to here, London, England. And on the way, in quite extraordinary circumstances, I made the acquaintance of a world-famous detective. Currently, I reside in the attic of the detective's own lodgings, from where I run my legal consultancy of sorts. I have successfully defended a number of clients in Britain's highest court, the Old Bailey. But since a particularly grueling and unforgettable legal battle 4 months ago now, I haven't returned to the courtroom. In truth, I lost my right to return. That epic trial was just one small part of an epic tale. A tale which was now about to awaken from slumber, thanks to a letter that arrived this morning from my homeland. Excuse me, I need to go eat something. What a delicious smell wafting up the stairs. Must be nearly time for breakfast. I better go down to Mr. Solm's suite and say good morning to the great detective and his flatmate. Yes, Harlock Soons. August 30th, 7:28 a.m. Solm's suite.
Oh, well, now, good. I was just about to call up to you. Bacon's ready.
Good morning, Iris. It smells delicious as usual. Before we eat, though, I have some news. I have surprises. Shh! Not another word, Mr. Naruhodo. This could be just the abstruse thing for my pre-breakfast stagnation, repelling mental stimulation, my dear fellow. Morning to you, too, Mr. Harlock. Ah, yes, I see. So, that's it. The truth is clear to me as day. My faculties of observation has revealed it again. What are you talking about? You, Mr. Naruhodo, you have this very morning met with a surprise. Well, is that not the case? Really, my dear fellow, it barely wants explanation. Firstly, your hair is particularly unkempt, somewhat reminiscent of a bird's nose. Secondly, you have neglected to fasten the third button of your jacket. Clearly, when considered together, these two facts point to you having been flustered this morning. Can I talk now? But of course, no, I don't look for admiration all this time. My hair always looks like this. It's been this way since I first met you. Oh. Has it? And the button was ripped off last night, if you remember. By you.
How did you pull your button off?
Yes, I recall the incident now. It was after supper, was it not? As evening advanced, I picked up my violin and began to play the wailing notes of the tune. But then, to my utter dismay, the third string snapped. Why did it have to happen? Why? Little wonder then that in my vexation I grabbed the first button I saw and ripped it from its proper place. I'd like it back now, please. It's troubling me that I can't fasten my jacket. And it's troubling me that you expect me to know where it is. Somewhere thereabouts on the floor. Helpful. What matters at the present time, my dear fellow, is simply whether or not my deduction was unerring.
But Harry, Moto said it when he came in, didn't he? I had a surprise this morning.
Well, that really is a surprise. Yes, this man is the pride of the British Empire. The famous consulting detective, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. There can't be a single person in the world who doesn't know his name. Yes, he's been known by many other names like Sherlock Bones, Sherlock Holmes, Sherlock Holmes, the Great Detective, and Sherlock Holmes.
Alright, then enough of this silly conversation. Come and eat this bacon before it gets cold. And I have an herbal tea for you to try too. My latest special blend.
And here we have Iris Wilson, Mr. Solm's lodger and companion. Truly exceptional young girl who's the author of a highly successful serialization here in London. Yes, The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, as published in Rand's magazine. So, Mr. Naruhodo, won't you put us out of our misery? What surprised you this fine morning? Well, I received a letter from Japan.
Oh, from Susie, you mean? Was it? Really?
That's right. She has some rather startling news, in fact. Intriguing indeed. You must tell it. You must tell us all about it over breakfast.
Oh yes, what fun.
Oh, sure. Let me tell you about it. This letter that arrived from Japan this morning by your national post.
Oh, how lovely. Look at Susie's beautiful writing. I wish take it, please.
And how's your judicial assistant faring, Miles? She's very well, thank you. In fact, according to what she's written, she actually appeared as a lawyer at the Japanese Supreme Court and won a case.
Oh, really? Oh, isn't she wonderful?
A cut above your good self, my dear fellow. I've won cases too. Apparently, Mr. Natsume appeared in the trial as a witness. Of course you do! We helped the man twice! You know, in those 2 cases that took place on Briar Road 6 months ago? Ah, the mustachioed twitchy man with the somewhat feline eyes and mustache.
He didn't have 2 mustaches, Hottie.
Yes, who could forget those 2 cases? They made a very deep impression. Although I must confess, the details are a little hazy now. Very deep impression they made on you, clearly. So about the startling news. So, what was this startling news penned by Miss Susato? Do you remember the case of the haunted lodgings, Mr. Solms? Oh, yes, very interesting, you know. I don't feel entirely certain that a case of that nature did not occur. He's totally forgotten that. Anyway, in her letter, Miss Susato asked that we read over her case notes again and investigate further. Though it took place half a year ago, for what purpose? Because of something that Mr. Natsume said to her, apparently. He suggested that the real reason why she was called back to Japan so suddenly might have something to do with the case of the haunted lodgings. On Natsume's return to Japan, Sasato's father questioned him about the case, she says. And something Natsume said appeared to trouble Professor Mikotoba, prompting him to send that telegram.
Oh, that case, yes! It was very strange, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I had compiled the whole story to a nice, neat manuscript ready for publication, too. But then Holly here was all funny about it, remember? He was very mean. That story must not be published, you said, very mysteriously as well.
Really? I said that. Are you sure? Do you perhaps know something about it as well, Mr. Holmes? About why Susato was suddenly told 4 months ago that she had to return to Japan?
It's been 4 months now since we waved Susie off at Dover. It was such a shock, wasn't it? The way she just suddenly announced that she had to go back to Japan.
Indeed it was. Due to a telegram she received from her homeland, I believe. That's right, telling her to return urgently. Yes, because her father had passed away. No! It just said he was suffering from high fever, because of which was unknown. He's not dead. According to this letter, that news about her father's fever was just a ruse.
A ruse? So Susie Daddy lied to her so that she'd make the voyage back home? Why would he do that?
I have to admit, I have absolutely no idea. But she believes it's almost certainly related to the case of the haunted lodgings. Sending her back to Japan so suddenly like that. I wonder what Susato's father's hiding.
Honey, do you know what it's all about?
Ah, well, who was I? What? But you said... Please. I have engagements, my dear fellow. My calendar is quite surprisingly full today. And a stringent analysis of the matter would be excessive, even if I were quite at leisure. So, man the fort in my absence, one choice.
I will, Holly. Don't worry. See you later.
You scuttle off rather quickly there. I think perhaps Professor Mikotoba isn't the only person hiding something here. Souseki was involved in 2 cases, but only one of them was forbidden from being published. Why, of all people, Mr. Holmes?
Aha! I found him at last.
Iris, are they...
The notes about the keys? That's right. Susie and I compiled them together. The case of the haunted lodgings. Do you want to read them, Bruno?
Huh. Absolutely. Thank you, Iris. I have no idea what secrets you could still be hiding in the shadows of this case. But perhaps if I read over the notes again, something might come to light.
That's the spirit.
And so, Iris and I decided to read over the case notes again together. Everything from what happened to our investigation and that fierce battle in court that followed. Reliving every detail. I just need to find a clue. And I have all the time in the world. Because of course, I'm no longer allowed to practice law in the courts of Great Britain. It was 6 months ago. A mysterious incident that unfolded on the wintry streets of London. A young woman was found lying on the snowy pavement of Briar Road with a knife in her back. That one knife went through all that back fat. No, seriously, this one knife just went through all that back fat. Like, fortunately, her life was spared, but she was unconscious for several days following the incident. The fog was thick, and nobody saw her attacker, but by a cruel twist of fate, a visiting Japanese student was walking behind her at the time was turned arrested. That man was Souseki. And the man who effected his arrest was Mr. Solus. Believing in our compatriot's innocence, Susato and I decided to represent Souseki in court. And after a grueling trial and many twists and turns, we finally managed to prove his innocence. Joyous jubilation! Was the man's reaction after the trial. But his jubilation was short-lived. I received a telegram from Mr. Sons the following morning. The victim of the Briar Road stabbing has regained consciousness. Hurry to Blotz at once. So Susato and I summoned Hanson, headed immediately to the hospital. 21st, 5:30 a.m. St. Bartholomew's Hospital. Recovery. There you are at last. Good morning, Mr. Soames. I think not.
Huh?
You're late! What on earth took you so long?
Your telegram only arrived at 5 o'clock, Mr. Soames. And it's a 20-minute ride to the hospital.
That's right, and it's 5:30 now. I think we made very good time. Time's utterly irrelevant. The fact is, I have been waiting for what has felt like an eternity. In point of fact, I myself was woken up for this morning by a telegram board, and feeling it was somewhat unjust that I alone had been roused at such an hour, I sent one to you. Well, thanks for that. Anyway, you're here now, so the victim's on way out. She's only just regained consciousness. Ah, Miss Backfat. You should introduce yourselves. I shall observe from here. So that's the lady who found the snow-covered pavement with the knife in her neck. So that's the lady who's found the snow-covered pavement with the knife in her neck. Good Lord! This woman! I swear that backfat just saved her a lot. Just saved her from, from death.
Her name's, yes, here we go. Miss Green.
She was found in the kitchen with a butter knife next to a jar of peanut butter. And she found Colonel Mustard on the floor. And she had the news. Oh, sorry. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Look, there's a photograph in the frame here.
Oh, yes, it's a picture of a young gentleman.
Looks to be about the same age as Miss Green. Perhaps the young woman's special someone, do you think?
My, Naruhodo. I didn't know you had sense for matters of the heart.
Not in the least. I sincerely said the first thing I thought. This rounded wooden figure is the most charming, isn't it?
I don't think that's a decoration, Mr. Naruhodo. It's an artist mannequin, I believe, used when practicing sketching the human form in different poses.
Really? It's not exactly what you call a typical figure for that purpose, though, is it?
No, I suppose not. I confess, I've never seen one quite so full-figured before.
Well, if you want to draw a full-figure person, it's the right tool for the job. This looks like the patient's treatment notes. It's do not feed. What is this place, a zoo?
You know, I seem to remember seeing an almost identical sign in our local park.
For the pigeons, yes. This is a person. Or, I hope she hasn't ran Like, I would be like, the fuck? There's a reason why I'm looking at everything. Because you can never tell. Lots of bottles in that cabinet, aren't there? Do you think it's safe to keep them in there?
If you are patient here, I'm pretty sure you took some medicine by mistake when you were half asleep.
That's a worry. Well, at least the cabinet has a lock, even if it's only a flimsy looking one.
Oh, no doubt you managed to unlock that somehow while you were half asleep as well.
There are limits to what I can do when I'm half asleep, you know, Susanna. This looks like the treatment notes for whoever's occupying this bed. Let's see. Do not permit to run around the hospital.
The patient doesn't seem to be here at the moment, though, so...
He or she's probably running around the hospital then.
Oh dear, okay.
What's worrying is why they haven't discharged the patient yet. There also some medicines in this cabinet. I'm not sure if it's safe leaving him in reach of everyone like this.
Yes, you're right. I can imagine if you were peckish, you might try a whole bottle or two.
Well, at least there seems to be a little lock to secure the cabinet doors.
I don't imagine that would stop you if you were hungry. I worry that you'd break the lock.
Hunger doesn't turn me into a criminal, you know, Susanna. You know, that's the reason why you had to have a sandwich. Because, you know, you're not you when you're hungry. Good morning. Hello, I'm, Naruhodo Yunosuke from the Empire of Japan.
Oh, no. Was it your knife that... Are you the man who...
No. I'm a lawyer.
Susato Mikatowa. Hajimemashite. Oh no, was it your knife then? Are you the one? Oh no, I assure you. I'm Naruhodo's judicial assistant. We heard that you regained consciousness and wanted to come to give you our best wishes. Best wishes for me. Thank you. I'm Olive Green. I'm an artist.
I was about to say, if your last name was Oil, I'm like, fuck's
My name is Avalon.
the fuck? Where's Popeye at?
No, that's not right, Izzy. What I mean is I'm trying to be an artist. What I really mean is I desperately want to be an artist. But the truth is I don't have any talent. I know I don't. There's no wonder I was stabbed in the back.
I don't think that's related, actually.
Gosh, this young woman seems to bend over backwards to put herself down.
How? Seeing as we're here, we should ask her about what happened from her perspective, I suppose. So, about the incident. Did something be struck in the back by a blade as you were walking along the pavement. What a terrible experience you had, Miss Green.
It was so cold that day before, which was I couldn't see a thing. That was 4 days ago now, I think. That's right. Yes, that's right. I'm afraid you've been comatose all that time. But the case has been self-tested by everyone here in the hospital.
Indeed it has, my dear madam. Spectacularly by none other than I, Harlock Soames.
Mr. Soames, as you well know, it was Naruhodo's hard work in court that solved the case.
Are you yet to hear what happened, Miss Green?
Yes, I'm afraid that a gentleman from the police force is supposed to be coming to fill me in shortly.
How?
Oh, I see. Me coming round seemed to have made everyone frantically busy. I'm so sorry I should have never regained consciousness. It was selfish of me. Oh, no. We're all so relieved that you're on the mend, Miss Green. Really, we are.
That kind of attitude, maybe her surname should be Blue, not Green. Tell me about yourself, please. So, you're an artist, or are you Miss Green?
No, I can't possibly claim that. I'm a fledgling artist at best.
Still an artist.
I mean, I'm a student of art already at the Thorndike Academy of Fine Arts. Oh my, an Academy of Fine Arts. Great Britain sure is a wonderful country.
Tell me, Miss Green, do you live hereabouts?
Oh no, gee. I don't deserve it, but I have a little flat on Nixon.
I see. How very interesting.
Oh no. Is it?
Dixon's some 10 stops away from the underground from here. And Thorndike Academy is a mere 3-minute walk from Brixton Town Centre. Does that matter, Mrs. Holmes? Perhaps not. But Briar Road's far less salubrious part of town by comparison, dwelt in by those inferior beings, including the maleficent Mr. Moustache. Inferior means, I suppose Souseki does fit the bill. It struck me somewhat out of the ordinary for a young, fine art student to be walking in such a district. That's all. What's this? She suddenly clammed up.
Mr. Soames, you should be ashamed of yourself prying into a young maiden's private affairs.
Oh, dear me. Do forgive me. Oh, yes, of course. We won't keep you. Thank you so much, Miss Green. Is Mr. Naruhodo here? Mr. Naruhodo! Naruhodo now? Well, if you're looking for Naruhodo, the lawyer, that's me, but... Mr. Naruhodo! Good, this for you. Trying to say Naruhodo. Naruhodo! This for you. It's a message from Mr. Souseki Natsume. This is Souseki Natsume. Natsume! Not Natsume. He sent a message to me.
But why would a policeman be delivering a message from Natsume?
Exactly. What's going on? What's What's a Scotland Yard constable doing playing delivery boy at this time in the morning? What are you waiting for? Let me see that! Oh! Well, this is most unexpected. Something wrong, Mr. Soames? Is something wrong, Mr. Soames? He says, have you not seen this note? No, how could I have? It would seem that London's criminals have no intention of letting the great detective rest. A new case calls. A case of murder, no less. We must depart at once! Murder? Call a cab! Time's of the essence! But the trouble is, we've yet to read Mr. Natsume's note. I was thinking we ought to pay him a visit in his lodgings once we did. That would be entirely convenient. Convenient? What do you mean? It's all here in the note, my dear fellows. I know we must investigate. Took place at Mr. Moustache lodgings. Wait, what? I have Valkyrie at once. Only yesterday that Souseki was in court, spelling doubts about his innocence. Now, the very next day, there's a murder at the man's own address? He may very well be the unluckiest man alive. Or so I last time, but we were soon to discover it was worse than we thought. Later that day, 7:18, Natsume's lodgings, ground floor. What on earth? Oh my, the gentleman's deceased without question. He's dead. Welcome, student! Naruhodo-san! Natsume! Why? Did me? I've only just got out of the court yesterday! I was finally home after 2 days of misery! And then a week of the next tickets! No only bunch of cattle worm it is! Woeful worm without wiggle! I see your high spirits again. This morning, Mr. Moustache. Look! Not the horrible Harlock Sims! Shoo! Show off! Show yourself to the door! I never invited you! Of course you did. Mrs. Souseki, here with us. I'm quite sure he'll be able to help you, Mr. Natsume. I'm entirely at your disposal, Mr. Moustache. What can I do for you? Here they are already. Ah, Mr. Fishing Chips! Ah, Inspector Gregson. What a pleasant surprise. Well, did we all want another time or see a face at Clemson? I deduce, Inspector, that your heartburn is a result of your excessive consumption of fried food. Good morning, Inspector. This is the crime scene. Don't you go touching anything. Or, good morning to you too, sunshine. I'm sorry, my dude. What a terrible thing to have happen. It's only been 3 days since I was arrested for the incident on the pavement outside. Damn it, finally became my freedom. It's also happening all over again. And this existence of excruciating experiences. So, the victim lived here on the ground floor, and your room was just 1 story up, isn't it? Yes, that's right. In a way, we were neighbors, I suppose. So, did you know the victim? Were you friends? What's that telling us, man? What's the matter with Souseki now? It was an innocent enough question, wasn't it? Why does he seem so shaken by it? I suppose he wasn't a complete stranger. But he ever never on my honor, I swear it's... What an extreme reaction. You're probably wishing you never asked now, aren't you, Naruhodo? When we found him here, I felt wretched, which is why I said, word asking you to come. Do that inspector over there! I see. Gregson, what do you gotta say about this? So, Inspector, what was the victim's name? Who was he? Mr. William Shakespeare. Was a lot of him. As you probably tell, they were knocked up. Bit of a dead loss. What happened? What? Just dead. I see what they did here. William Shakespeare. Mr. Shakespeare. Was the landlord. Old Mr. Gaida. Of the lodger. Natsume found him. Well, didn't rise as you was, so Gaida got worried and kicked the door down. But doesn't Mr. Gaideb have a bad leg? Oh yeah, right there. It's just a jittery Japanese hunchback over there who actually didn't kick it. Really? Souseki? The victim was pretty hard up shapes, even in some time inside for petty crime. I no money, no work, no friends, no acquaintances, people in the house. So, what exactly is Natsume still doing here? He's not involved in the investigation, so shouldn't you have sent him away from the crime scene? Well, I'm not saying it's because it's odd or anything. The way he acts suspicious. I thought it would be prudent to take a statement from the Carmen. You nearly said culprit there, didn't you? Oh dear. And Natsume appears to be under suspicion again. Certainly seems that way. He does just come off as such an odd fellow, doesn't he? Poor man. How unfortunate. Anyway, come say I'm up to the corner, gets up. I don't think the fellow's been gone that long. Oh, it's double. Even if they sprinkle oil out, I don't think I can bring myself to touch a dead body. Well, Harlock, what do you say? Harlock, what are you doing? Huh. You only need observe to know it, my dear fellow. Investigating, naturally. There's nothing natural about that post. Like you're about to run out the door.
Mr. Soames, have you made some miraculous discovery?
First is not a mountain patience. We've not been here in this room for 5 minutes. So far, all I've managed to deduce is what actually happened.
My goodness. But isn't that everything we need to know, Mr. Soames?
Now that you propose it, I believe one could indeed see the At the present time, I have managed to draw two incontrovertible conclusions. The first, that there was a there was a physical struggle here last night in which the victim fought for his life. Natsume, what's wrong? That Mr. Holmes said significant amount. No, don't mind me. Forget I was here. And my second conclusion is that there was a poison lingering in the air here last night that passed the victim's lips. Nonsense! Alright, Natsume, why are you reacting so extremely to Mr. Holmes' deductions? No, please, pretend I'm down here! Invisible, infathomable, inscrutable, insignificant. You're invisible, ineffable, inscrutable, yeah. Impossible to ignore.
You must tell us everything, Mr. Soames. Spare no detail.
But of course, let the theatrical tragedy before us be unraveled by my great deductions presented for your pleasure in 2 acts. We've heard some truly astounding great deductions from Mr. Holmes in the past. No doubt this will be no exception. What miracles will unfold before our eyes this time? So, my dear fellows, for your delight and wonder, let the curtain rise for Sherlock Holmes, Logic and Reasoning Spectacular, Act 1. The Great Deduction. The Games of Fortune. Topic 1. Cause of death. Careful observation. Victim reveals to us the events that transpired in this disconsolate room last night. Foam at the mouth of the deceased clearly indicates the use of poison. Next to the victim, we notice a large dining plate which contains, you will observe, 1/2 of a sizable bar of soap. Meaningful? Indubitably. Why is this soap set so purposely upon the dish, like the victim's last supper? In fact, yes. Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course, the fork reveals the answer. It appears that the young man's appetite was his undoing. Taking up arms, in the form of a cutlery, the victim engaged in a deadly battle for his life. Yet the struggle against his hunger was in vain, for in the end he couldn't resist devouring the slippery feast. Foul soap is besmirched by foul poison. Yes, the victim's life is claimed by poison that tainted the contents of the plate. The soap and the lather above the young man's mouth are too perfectly matched to ignore. The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to excessive ingestion of foul soap. Personally, I have greater interest in the taste of foul chemicals. Poisoning from soap ingestion. That's your conclusion. Okay, number 2. Suicide or murder. The cause of death identified. We proceed to Act 2, where we ponder the next question. Was this suicide or murder? occurred during the victim's last supper? Did the man who died in Dino, this single teacup suggests the answer? Which looks like what I'm looking at, that mark. Yeah, it looks like a footprint or an exclamation point. To draw a conclusion on such meager evidence would be foolish, however, certainly. A careful criminal could have absconded with his own cup to cover his tracks. Well, allow me to lift the veil down, my dear friend. Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the broken lock. Though forced open now, at the time of this incident, this door was locked. And the soul key was in the victim's pocket. In other words, when the victim consumed the poison, he must have been alone with his inferior self from whence wafted an inferior scent. And with that acrid aroma lingering in the air, the victim met his end in tragic solitude. We can take comfort only in the fact that his soul was well cleansed on its way to the hereafter.
Wah, 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 wah.
Conclusion? None. Thus concludes the final act of Sherlock Holmes' Great Deduction. That didn't make no goddamn sense, sir. Yeah, you too. There's just one thing, Mr. Solms. You are disposed to identifying just one thing, aren't you? Naruhodo? Pray, what concerns you? Well, no matter how hungry he was, do you really think the man would have eaten soap? It's quite bad that this man had barely a penny to his name. It's a curious thing, but one to destitute soap can suddenly appear quite irresistibly appetizing.
How extraordinary.
In truth, I've tried to do so myself in the past. You've eaten it, you mean? My dear fellow, some time ago now. My postulation was that it would cleanse my gut.
And did it?
As I writhed in agony on the floor and spilled the contents of my stomach, yes, I believe it did. Experience taught me a valuable lesson. Soap is quite poisonous. It has an unpleasant taste and leads to great discomfort. In summary, I cannot recommend it. Believe me, I wouldn't eat it even if you did.
There's something that troubles me as well, actually.
Oh, what's that?
It's Natsume.
Ah!
I couldn't help noticing him shuddering and quivering out on the corner of my eye. It was as if Mr. Solms' deductions touched a nerve cell.
Nonsense! Oh, that clenched teeth up. Didn't mind.
I didn't judge by Mr. Natsume's reaction. The great detective's deduction made use of gentle corrections in order to reach the actual truth.
Yes, Mr. Solms' observations and deductions are sometimes a little too sharp. He has a tendency to hit the nail on the side of the head and drive it in an obtuse angle. When he does that, it falls to us to straighten things out. Alright, then let's see what we can do.
Yes, we must pick out the key words here. Mr. Solms' quite brilliant deductions. And discreetly exchange it for something that makes a little more sense. If we can do that, I'm sure we'll arrive at what Mr. Solms meant to say in the first place.
In that case, are you ready for the second performance of the day? Once again, my dear fellows, for your continued delight and wonder, let the curtain rise. For Sherlock Holmes, Logic and Reasoning Spectacular, Act 1. Hold it, Mr. Solms. Okay, first off. Careful observation of the victim reveals to us the events that transpired in this disconsolate room last night. The foam at the mouth of the deceased clearly indicates the use of poison. Next to the victim, we notice a large dining plate, which means you will observe one half of a sizable blob, so meaningful indubitable rises. Served so purposely on the dish, like the victim last supper. Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course, the fork reveals the answer. No, it doesn't. Well, you can't deny that a fork implies the man was eating something, or about to eat something.
Yes, that's true. If I were to decide to eat some soap, I should prefer to use a fork than to attempt it with chopsticks.
And of course, only half a bar of soap was left on the plate.
But might there be some other explanation? Something material that proves whether or not the man really ate some soap.
No, I see. The other piece of soap. Look, there's more soap on the floor here. Mr. Shakespeare really must have loved this stuff.
Let's not jump to conclusions, Naruhodo. Look closely at this soap. You see that it would fit together perfectly with the half bar on the table?
What the hell can that be?
I think that they are two halves of the same bar that broke apart.
The other piece of soap. Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course. The other piece of soap reveals the answer. It's being the other half of the soap on the table, and so the victim was not eating soap at all. But it's obvious, really, for no depths of hunger could drive any man to attempt to eat soap. You know, I gotta look at this, but it's like we got Steampunk, Naruhodo, and Mappy. That's right, that's Mappy right there. Even I, with my unquenchable thirst for practical knowledge, took only a single bite. That begs the question of how the man was poisoned, because there's no sign of any food on the table. observation, Mr. Naruhodo, and one that finishes up with the answer we seek. For London's foul service besmirched by foul poison. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the contents of the plate. This sounds so pushing soap argument.
Perhaps he's suggesting the man licked the soap rather than ate it.
If soap and wonders that poison, I don't think I want to be washing my hands with it. There are no signs of food in this room at all.
Of course, food isn't the only thing that passes through people's lips, is it?
Because it's right there. The teacup. Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the teacup. Indeed, cups have been the vessel of choice for practicing poisoners over the centuries. It would appear that this victim drank every last drop. There's no sign of food anywhere in the room. Which leads us to the immutable conclusion. The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to the ingestion of poison contained in the teacup. Poison in the tea. So, second. The cause of death in day 5, we proceed to Act 2, where we ponder the next question. Was this suicide or murder? To recall that death occurred during the victim's last supper. And died of the single teacup suggests the answer. The Western vessel for infused hot drinks again is already featured heavily in our production so far.
Yes, we can imagine that shortly before his death, Mr. Shamsphere was having a drink of tea. There'd be nothing remarkable about that. But what troubles me
is Natsume's reaction when he heard Mr. Soul suggested. His deduction, it seems.
He must closely examine the scene of the crime again for some more clues.
Well, what is this I'm seeing? This other teacup right here. Did the man dine and die alone? This other teacup suggests the answer. Yes, there were 2 teacups in this room all along. In other words, this is a strong indication that at the victim's last supper, there was a guest present. At the very least, we can say now with certainty. Somebody else was here in this room last night, taking tea with the victim. What are you talking about? I just want a reason to draw a conclusion on such evidence would be foolish conversation. In which case, what more can we deduce about this possible guest at the table? Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow. Do you mean to say you know exactly who was in this room at the time of the victim's death? Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the broken lock. Sure, I like where this deduction is going now.
I'm afraid it's too late to go back to the house young days. I've been eating too much so.
The identity of the guest who was here last night when the victim passed away is I have a very bad feeling about.
Well, you can try to ignore your feelings, but we cannot ignore the truth, Naruhodo.
No, I suppose not. Don't look around again. So let's see, what is this? What about? First glance, it seems that the only things in this room are the makeshift stage and costumes. I overlooked these 3 books initially.
I wonder what they are. Let's see. The titles read The Picture of Monsieur le Coq, Canterbury Earrings, and The Meal for Gabriel.
Wait, I'm sure I've heard those tales before.
It could just be an incredible coincidence, but they're the exact same 3 books that Natsume purchased the other day.
What? Yes, they had a fortunate incident when Miss Green was stabbed. Souseki had just been to a bookshop. Bought them, that's right.
And now those 3 titles are here in the room of the victim.
Yet Natsume claims never to have been here before.
What does this mean? I really don't know what to make of it.
A pile of familiar books.
It's empty.
Empty of liquid, but full of air. That makes you think, doesn't it?
It makes me think that you're full of hot air. We should be thinking about who else was in the room at the time.
Father. Susada's quick response was cleverer than my original riddle. The pile of familiar books. Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the pile of familiar books. Quite so. No mere coincidence that these 3 titles are here in this room is the link to the truth. Natsume, you purchased these books 4 days ago at a second-hand bookshop. In that case, you will be able to bring the same 3 titles from your own room, will you not? This very moment. Oh, never! No, negotiable! If you can't bring your own copies here, proves that these 3 books are, in fact, yours. Having purchased the books 4 days and returned to your lodgings, you were arrested the very next day. So you could conceivably have brought the books here on that evening, but you never mentioned it. In other words, you could only have brought these 3 books here to the victim's room. Last night, having returned to your lodgings after the trial concluded at the old bidding. In short, there is only one possible conclusion. The victim died here in his room last night as a result of poisoning. That same night, the victim had a visitor. And that visitor was you, Souseki Natsume. Thus concludes the final act of Alak's great deduction. Souseki Natsume at the same. Solved. Deduction complete. Elementary. Not again, not again, not again! Not again! Well then, Mr. Natsume. Whatever. I'm gonna have to compliment me. Don't turn it off. Okay. But wait! Oh, Joseph! Well? Okay! Look! It's impossible! So flustered, even being more stranger than normal. What? There's not what? What is my copy? What? Love and same building all wrong. That word of further from. Misery me! Sorry, sir, you'll get your chance to give your side of the story later. The facts speak for themselves, Mr. Mustache. You are the elections! He really has found himself an eye trial now, hasn't he? Come now, no dirty outside, the carriage waiting. There comes student! Naruhodo, son! I never imagined I'd be in this position again, but... Get at me! Please, please! I'm innocent! Alright, I understand. We'll come to your cell later and talk about it. And one more thing! Yeah? My poor little kitty cat. Please give him my breakfast for... Please give him his breakfast for me! And, his evil curse still apparently unbroken. Souseki found himself once again the prime suspect in a case of murder. Thanks to the incriminating deduction of the great detective. My dear fellow, that honor belongs to you. Well, at least that means Inspector Gregson's no longer here. We can examine the crime scene in more detail now.
Yes, that's right. And of course.
What?
Have you forgotten what the inspector mentioned before? He was the landlord, Mr. Gaydeb, who discovered Mr. Shamspeare.
Mr. John Gaydeb, yes.
I expect to find him in the sitting room on the top floor as usual.
Right, you must remember to go and talk to him later. Here we have another disproportionately large machine. It's like a meter of some kind.
This is a gas meter, I think. See that, and then it seems in this district, residents pay for gas as they use it for point.
I see. Yes, now that you put it out. I can see that there's a slot just here that looks like it would take a coin. So you mean if you point a coin here,
That's right. That would buy you about 2 hours of gas for lights and heat.
so if you were a poor person with no money, you'd have to sleep in free gold.
Yeah, so if you were a scatterbrain with no change because you got to exchange your money at the bank.
Thank goodness there's a meter in our office. looks like a part of an envelope.
Yes, I think you may be right. Perhaps it was torn off when the letter was opened.
That's significant.
Well, it's a little out of place, perhaps, when you look around the room. There's no sign of letter. The rest of the envelope, in fact, is there.
Ah, she's right.
And yet here we have the torn off end of an envelope. This strikes me as unusual.
I agree. I better take this just in case.
As we've seen from the outside, the window's completely bricked up. Vestige of a former window tax that Britons had to pay.
But strange things they used to tax in Great Britain. I mean, making people pay for it. The windows they had in property, extraordinary.
Heartbreaks to think of poor having to block up their windows just avoiding an unaffordable tax. Oh,
What is it, Susanna?
if you look closely, a number of bricks are placed.
Ah, yes. Looks as though an amateur has broken out a few of them just here. It's a shams. Being a lodger renting this one.
Oh, look at this. Naruhodo. On the outside, there's a little ledge. Here's something on it.
Why outside?
Oh, it's so cold outside. You can feel it through the sky.
It did snow last night. Would be cold. But more importantly, there's no ledge up there. Where are those snow-covered lumps?
It's more bars of soap.
Soap? What are bars of soap doing lined up on a ledge outside a window?
I have no idea. But a pair of them look rather charming like that.
So that's very strange, isn't it? Bars of soap lying out outside a window. I think perhaps we should take one. There are two empty.
Oh dear. I suppose we could. And what's this? A carrot at the soap.
Huh!
You see, in the middle there? There's a patch that's a different color. It's sort of transparent, but
Some sort of fancy design, I suppose. Only in Great Britain.
looks like the Hinamano flag of Japan, doesn't it? How wonderful. Probably a very expensive brand.
Expensive. And what's it doing in this ramshackle room? So we check that. And a teacup.
Ah, one of the teacups that Mr. Shamshir and his guests drank from last night. But don't go drinking from the Naruhodo. There's bitter poison inside.
I'm not planning on drinking any, don't worry. Anyway, cups are both empty.
That's true. So one was Mr. Shamshir's, and the other must be the cup that Natsume was drinking from.
The Souseki wasn't poisoned. Perhaps we should take these so we can examine them in more detail later. Looks like I'll have a good sniff around tonight. Inspector Graveston! Back so soon! I'll fall through that little Japanese guy to claim the win for the City Investigation Division. Development's done, this place will be cordoned off by the old. I see. Well, we better be leaving then.
Poor Natsume must be feeling very low being back in the city again so soon.
I'm sure we should probably go and
What's wrong, Naruhodo?
and that.
Yeah!
Out, brave candle. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player. That struts and frets his hour upon the stage, then is heard no more. Now, how soundeth the next part? It's a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Indeed, a happy day! The fuck? What? The fuck? Walking Dead! The fella is a dead roll? What was the nonsense he was saying, though?
I think, yes, it was from William Shakespeare's Macbeth.
Yeah, Macbeth.
A soliloquy from Act 5, Scene 5.
Shakespeare. So it was. That the victim, Mr. William Shakespeare, came back to life. If the man had indeed been poisoned, it transpired that it hadn't killed him yet. He was taken by emergency carriage to a nearby hospital for treatment. And Inspector Gregson evicted us from the scene of the crime. Whatever that now was. Later that day on Briar Road.
Whatever do you think will happen now?
Good question. What a strange situation for Natsume. Arrested for murder, but then the victim comes back to life.
I think perhaps the victim was never dead in the first place. Seemed very likely that Mr. Shakespeare did consume poison as we deduced, but was an accident, attempted suicide, or attempted murder. Until the truth can be established, I imagine the police will keep Natsume in custody.
I suppose so. Let's hope it doesn't come to anything more than a night in cells. Oh, what's this? What's that man doing over there? Looks like he's trying to see into Souseke's lodgings.
Is something wrong, Naruhodo?
Excuse me! Can we have a word? Oh! You just ran off.
I feel sure I've seen that man somewhere before. Where was it?
Huh. I do too, but I don't remember. A new location has been added to the Gyarados room. Here we are are again. The eccentric landlord's eccentric top floor abode.
We're here because Mr. Garrett's the one who discovered the incident this morning, don't forget.
Ah, you Yes, good morning, sir. Thank you for your cooperation and coordination. It was quite a trial. As much for Mr. Garrett as anyone else. Kind of straight back after all that business at the bathing yesterday. Didn't expect to wake up to more body nonsense this morning.
I wonder, you wouldn't mind telling us exactly what happened, Mr. Garrett?
Yes, I suppose you'd like to know all about that dead boss of an art no shop on the ground floor. Those were exactly Inspector Grigson's words, weren't they? That incident, sir. Must have been a real shock for you this morning to hear that you discovered what had happened. That hopeless actor chap rises at 5 o'clock sharp every morning without fail. But at 5:30 this morning, I hadn't lit the gas. So I went down and knocked on the door, but nobody answered.
And that's when you broke into his room, by kicking down the door?
Well, I called him that rum-looking Japanese chap to do a grunt like I'm a little premature to kick the door down. The man could have just overslept by half an hour.
That's very true, Naruhodo. If 30 minutes oversleeping warranted such behavior.
Oh, trust me, whenever I sleep, it usually would take me about at least 15-20 minutes before I start getting up. Because the first thing I would have to do is I would have to reach for something, just like stretch my eyes a bit. Like the first thing I reach whenever I get up is my phone. The first thing I would do is like I would have to like make sure that I squint my eyes first. Like, okay. Hey, do this. You know, I would have to look left, look right, up and down. Basically, you know, get my surroundings first. Then stare at something just to help me wake up. But just to get me out the door, especially if I have church, 15 minutes. Because I would get dressed first, brush my teeth, wash my face, and shoot out the door. If not that, or say, you know, clinic, it'd be about the same thing, 15 minutes.
I'd have to kick your door down every morning.
Well, you know, better to be safe, so it's just me, or is he avoiding our gaze now?
Except that it was a side situation that you found on the far side of the door.
The victim's name is Mr. Shamshire. Mr. Shamspeare, I believe. Is that right? Not really, it should be called William Shamshire. Yes, William Shamspeare. The ground floor room 3 months ago.
Now, and how would you describe it?
You know what? Destitute.
Destitute.
Well, this let's face it, the only redeeming feature of that room is the cheap rent. Anyone wanting to have a place like that inside a boat or has a bally screws. So hard to choose which category Souseki will fall into.
Naruhodo, that's a little rude.
He was doing research as well. Research into what? Shakespeare, of course, Shakespeare! Read a few plays of the old Bible Saturday. Romeo, Hamlet, and all that. You mean Romeo and Juliet?
Yes, William Shakespeare is England's most highly regarded classical playwright and author. He's known as Sal in Japanese, you know. And many of his works have already been translated.
He's been known as Sword Art Online. Seems incredible that Shakespeare was shortened to Sal. So it's too heavy-handed there. There were a lot of costumes in the film, actually, weren't there?
Of course, Mr. Natsume is a scholar of English literature as well. I imagine he and Mr. Shakespeare would have much in common.
Shakespeare. Interpretation disagreement leads to a shocking murder. Let's not help us out there.
Naruhodo! Really? How rude!
After Mr. Natsume's trial yesterday, you came straight back here, I believe, didn't you? Did you notice anything strange between then and this morning? Must have been about 6 in the evening. Snow was going down rather heavily. It was completely dark already. I felt like the chap was out of the sun. Mr. Guy didn't notice there was no light from his room or something. Couldn't summon the energy from me too much like a shot from a fire. And it was after 8 before Shamsu. And the chap was up until past 1 in the morning. Suppose he made it in sometime after that. Obviously, by then, so I'm right on your back. Well, thank you. That's very illuminating. Is everything alright, Susato?
Well, I was just thinking it's a little strange, that's all. Mr. Gaidep, you were up here in your room all evening, if I understood correctly.
Not a big fan of style. My order blasted back.
Then, how is it that you seem to know the precise movements of your tenant on the ground floor, I mean?
That's a very good point. I can't imagine that you could hear noises from the ground floor all the way up here. Is this old man like to spawn on his tenants? Is that it? I say, I know what you're thinking, and this body outrage. I'm ex-military, don't you know? I don't go around spying on my tenants. Why would I?
And how did you know, Mr. Gaidep?
It's a gas woman. Gas tells me everything.
The gas?
Speaking gas?
What on earth do you mean, sir? How can the gas tell you anything, let alone everything?
Well, you probably would have gas supply to the building, but pubs. Yes, more or less work that out.
Every room in the building is connected by a single pipe to the gas main outside. The gas company supplies gas to properties via main.
Yes, I understand that too. Let me see if I can explain. Say I was lighting gas lamps. Yep. What do you suppose with that? Well, obviously the room would get brighter.
Exactly. At the same time, the lights in all the other rooms of the house would dim for a moment.
What? They dim? Why?
Perhaps it's because when you light a gas lamp, it briefly uses more gas than usual. And that reduces the amount of gas in the pipe for the other lamps that are connected to it. That might explain why the other lamps dim momentarily.
Yes, of course. Because everything's connected to a single supply pipe.
That's supposed to happen though. It's rather undesirable.
Not a good point. In fact, this gas company's pipes and needed parts are pretty obvious. Long worn out. Barely. Got any gas in them to start with. Opposites also true, of course. Change the lamps up here and they glow brighter than the rest of the house.
Ah, right, I see. So by watching the flickering of the lamps in one room, you can determine what's happening elsewhere.
You got it.
Of course, because when people come back home in the evening and before they go to sleep at night, what they're guaranteed to do is either light or put out their lamps and fires.
Clear here. But in fact, one ground floor and one above it use slightly different amounts of gas. Watching lights, get closer, they can work out almost exactly what's going on in the whole house.
Gosh, that's fascinating, Mr. Geiger. Absolutely fascinating.
Well, nothing to it really.
I can't really see that it's going to help us with the case either. I'd like to know. That's why Mr. Geiger was so interested in what his tenants are up to in the first place. I feel like there's more to it than idle curiosity. Well, we done as much investigating here as we can, I think. Perhaps we gotta go to the prison and speak with Natsume again.
Good idea.
To the prison. Cell 9.
Look, Naruhodo. Natsume, have the police finished questioning you now?
Now come student Naruhodo-san! Oh, yeah? What is he? Tell me! Is he a ghost? Is he at all to me? Let me guess. You're talking about Mr. Solms.
He actually calls himself a great detective. Natsume, not a ghost.
But the diabolical deduction did not of this world. They left me. Cursed, I tell you. Well, that sort of hurts.
Credit request too, Naruhodo. You were heavily involved in the deduction too.
Yes. Moving on. We have some wonderful news.
The victim that we all thought was dead has come back to life again.
Now, in the absolutely worst case, you could only be tried for attempted murder. That's great, isn't it? Natsume? Damn!
Oh,
I'm stuck in a cell suffering for some silly wrong end of the stick. You did you confess? You killer! 100%! Constant question! I'm sorry to hear that. That selfish shyster! Make up your mind. Are you dead or alive? If you were going to come back to life, why bother dying? We can eat washy, William! Suppose, like you read it.
It seems likely that Mr. Shakespeare was never actually.
Seems likely that Mr. Shakespeare was never actually dead in the first place.
Yes, that might make sense. And then please, yeah, he's alive, of course. Our lively debate was last night was much fun. Sad to think it was our last.
Natsume, does this mean that you did see the victim last night? You met with Mr. Shakespeare, didn't you?
I'm not saying another word. They demand to have an present.
Who do you think I am?
Please, Natsume, we need to hear your side of the story.
I like cats like this.
What happened? Can you tell us exactly what happened last night then, Natsume?
There's nothing to tell. But, Naruhodo, son, I'm eternally grateful to you for having me with that accursed case yesterday.
The case that saw poor Miss Green hospitalized after she ended up with a knife in her backpack.
I believe that was only yesterday.
After the trial was over, I trudged my way back to my early lodging. That evening, I past 9 must have been 9. Visit Mr. Shakespeare.
So you did go to the victim's room then?
As we feared.
I didn't do anything wrong. I've never been to his room before. It was first time.
Then what made you decide to go?
I bumped into him when I arrived back at the house. We got chatting and it led into a discussion. He had to go out, so I made him come up.
That ties in with what Mr. Gaidov said. The victim went out and came back and drank.
We had to get later that evening at around 9 or just after, when I took him some nice tea I brewed as a gift.
So as you brought the tea that had clearly been drunk at the scene then.
And I suppose you were discussing the works of Shakespeare, were you?
Yes, that's right, exactly right. Romeo and Juliet! Who was stronger? Was it that I would have been?
None were stronger, they both died.
Sure.
Such a stimulating subject, Shakespeare!
And the debate became very heated, so you slipped poison into Mr. Shakespeare's tea.
No! Never! Not at all! Team Juliet won! That was me! And when he left his room, if that boy and fellow was fighting fit, I swear, categorically.
Categorically, he says. Natsume, you often say the same thing about yourself, I notice. That you have a cursed existence.
I'm sure I mentioned this to you before, but I've been here in Great Britain for a year now, and in that time I've learned there's no place for me.
It can be very trying to live in a foreign land and adapt to the ways of another culture.
Oh, trust me, I lived in Japan for a year. I can tell you one thing that was very hard to do while in Japan. Finding work.
And foreigners everywhere I look, they all stare at me, they all laugh. That's the impression I get whenever I go out. It makes me scared to be them. Which is why I become a recluse. But even in my room, I find no respite from my fears. That moved more times than I can remember. Then, 1 week ago, I moved into Briar Road.
Why? I mean, why'd you choose that place? doesn't seem very comfortable.
Because the rent's cheap, I have so little money it spoke to me. Obviously, there's reason why it's cheap, because the room's cursed.
Cursed? Cursed how?
The previous occupant, the man who lived there before I took the room, died there.
Oh no!
He's only a young man, but one morning he was found dead and no one could explain why. Surely no one would want to live in a room with a history like that.
If it was called Amityville, I'm pretty sure no one would want to live in a place like that.
I did. When the letting agent recommended the place, I wavered. But why want books? And books cost money, and a horrible history is a small price to pay. I realized it could mean I could buy more books. I signed the lease, like writing.
Brave? Blankered.
But after I moved in, I soon came to realize what I had done. I realized how horrible that room really was.
Gosh, was he really so awful?
About that horrible history.
How the room's horrible history affect you, Mr. Natsume? What happened?
At first, it was just the feeling of beady eyes boring into my back and watching me.
You think that might just have been your mind playing tricks on you?
No. My mind doesn't know any tricks. It was someone else. One long nightmare. I was given the keys to the place.
No, a nightmare. You've been having bad dreams with me.
All the souls died in that room, leaned over me in my sleep, and tried to strangle me.
That really is horrible.
And now I come to think of it, that happened again last night. The very same night that Mr. Shakespeare was writhing in agony from the poison in his body. I was on the verge of being suffocated silently by those miserable spirits in my room.
You simply must move out of that room as soon as possible.
Yes, all right, I know it. That's why I'm always searching for the next room with history to call home.
I think perhaps you should try avoid accommodation with any kind of history at all. Otherwise, I'm scared that you yourself may become history.
Especially if you find yourself reading something about Silent Hill. Sasano knows how to make the man listen.
Of course, Mr. Lord of the Manor is worried about the curse on my room as well.
You mean Mr. Gaida?
Yes, he knows if people keep dying there, he'll never be able to rent it out again.
Well, that's true. I, for one, wouldn't go near the place.
Ah, perhaps that may explain why the landlord pays so much attention to the gas lamps in his tenants' rooms.
You mean because he's worried about their well-being? He doesn't seem to have an unusually keen interest in the amount of gas he pays. There must be a reason why he keeps such close tabs on the occupants of his bedrooms.
What do you mean he pays so much attention to the gas lamps?
Oh dear, no, it's nothing to do with you, Mr. Natsume. Please forget I said it.
Now you're talking about me behind my back as well.
What's important is that Mr. Shakespeare isn't, in fact, dead at all. Once he's come around and he's able to tell us what's happened, we'll be here to get you released.
Yes, please. Oh, I do hope you're right. Excuse me. Inspector Gregson. Cool now. Oh man, what you just said? Ain't on that note. I have some good news and some bad news. Oh? Which do you want first? Always, every time, the bad news comes first. Exactly. When anybody always says, I have some good news for you and some bad news, you always want the bad news first. Just get it out of the way. When hope is all you have, hold on to it. That's my guiding principle. That does make sense. Well, that guys. Good news is. Huh? So I was just lazy at explaining everything, that's right. Why did you ask me my preference? I remember. Like the Miss Johnson, was there some country? Come on now. Yes, we saw it happen in all its terrifying glory. I still have been treated by doctors, but we managed to get a written statement from them already.
Oh, isn't that wonderful, Natsume?
Oh, thank goodness it's all over then. I can leave this somber sad. Sorry, no, that's not on the calls.
What? Why ever not, Inspector?
Mr. Shamspaz implicates someone as being responsible for what happened last night.
Implicated someone? How do you?
You told me! I'm sorry to say I do, yes. He's pointing the finger at you, Mr. Natsume. Well, sweet poison, did you seek it to end my life? That wicked cutting, Souseki Natsume. No! So I'm afraid you'll be appearing in court as planned. You'll be more to make necessary preparation. No! And so, once again, Souseki found himself having to take the dock in the opium. Whether his room was haunted or whether he was just terribly unlucky, I knew I had no choice. The following day, I would represent him in court and do my utmost to break the curse that blinded him. And with that, I'm actually going to stop right here. And in the next part, we deal with the trial. So next time, the first part of the trial. Stay tuned, more of the Great Ace Attorney. The resolve right after this.